Hi, I'm Tyson Franklin, and welcome to this week's episode of It's No Secret with Dr. T. Today, I spoke with James Crook, and he's a business coach for massage therapists. And we talk a lot about learning from other professions. Now, if you're not a massage therapist, settle down. There's still a lot to learn. Today, we talk about the three amazing M's, which is mindset, marketing, and mechanics. And James Crook is going to take us through those three things. And we also talk about why there are riches in niches. So I started the conversation today with how did he get into coaching for massage therapists? Sit back, enjoy this. You're going to absolutely love it.
So I actually run this business with my wife. We're the head coaches together. And my wife, Alicia, ran the Ocean Grove Remedial Massage Centre for around 16 years.
Yeah.
And literally started massaging from our lounge room, family and friends, that kind of stuff when she was first qualified. Had a few different jobs at day spas and chiro clinics. And then she grew her own business right up to the point where at one stage we had a clinic with 3 rooms, 9 staff doing over 100 treatments a week. And so that kind of journey through business meant we had a lot of challenges. We learned a lot of stuff. Because back then, this is going back 16 years or more, there wasn't a lot of training that we knew about that helped business people through that kind of stuff. So we had to learn it all the hard way. We had a lot of experiences that were good and a lot that were really challenging. And we've kind of pulled that apart into now being able to deliver training to other therapists. Now, while that was happening, I was actually running a digital marketing agency myself. So we were doing a lot of website builds. And then as Facebook got bigger, we were doing marketing that way, some Google work, that kind of stuff. Helping all sorts of small businesses around Australia and even some overseas to be able to get their online presence sorted out, to attract new clients and customers that way. And both Alicia and myself sold both those businesses a couple of years ago and moved full-time into doing training and coaching with massage therapists now. And it's going really well. We love it.
So you sort of two paths came together. You had your wife was in the massage industry, and you were like in the online industry doing marketing, and you've sort of just brought the two together. Did you, like, niching it down to just working with massage therapists? Is, you hear everybody say it, that there's riches and niches. If you're in America, that's how they say it. So and you would have to agree then that just focusing in on that one particular market has been gold.
It certainly gave us a huge leg up at the very start.
Yeah.
Because what would happen is we would go into massage communities, either online ones or at association meetings, that kind of stuff. And as soon as it was like, here's Leash, she actually is a massage therapist. She's done this whole thing before, and now we do training. Straight away, people just are like, oh, you're one of us. Yeah, let's gather around and hear what you've got to say. Whereas if it was a little bit more generic, or if we were coming in from the outside a bit more, like if I was trying to just do this by myself, it would have taken a lot longer to get that initial reaction, the initial momentum from the business. Now that we're a bit bigger, we've been doing this for a little bit longer, I think we've got a reputation that's established beyond just that. So, now we could probably be a bit broader or extend out if we wanted to, but we don't need to. We enjoy a lot of support and a lot of great connection with massage therapy. And instead of broadening out into other niches, we're actually just going geographically broader. We've always had Australia as our base. We have had a few clients in New Zealand, but I don't know if that even really counts as international. It's like halfway into international.
Yeah, it depends where you live in Australia. Yeah, it is. Like like I'm in Cairns, so to go to New Zealand is a fair way. But if you're in like Sydney or Melbourne, flying over to New Zealand is not a big trip.
I know, and a lot of them come over here. It's a great relationship we've got with them. We speak very similar terms, especially in massage.
Oh, definitely.
But just this year, we've been branching out into Canada and the UK a lot more as well. So it's really exciting for us. It's a great growth opportunity. It's also a whole new set of challenges as well. But it's fun. I like it.
Now, there's one thing you said before, and you went that when you decided that you were going to niche into that particular area, massage therapy, you knew where to find your ideal customers because they were at the trade shows and they're at the events where massage therapists would actually hang together. So that made it easier to find your market.
Yeah. And because my wife was in the industry earlier, she had that kind of knowledge of where they were, who the associations were, and the kind of trade shows and things that were around. Now, there's still not a huge uptake of physical events. Massage therapists, I think this is common with a lot of industries, but massage therapists do go to events, but nowhere near as much as they might have 10 or 20 years ago. A lot of it still does happen online. But even then, we knew what the popular groups were on Facebook. We started our own because we could see where the gaps were. And because we had that kind of intimate knowledge already of the marketplace and where the gaps were and what was needed, it really just enabled us to get very quickly, take a lot of action. We did a lot of work, but the opportunity was there to get those steps really happening super powerfully.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant what you've done, and you didn't try and go too broad. You went very narrow, with the thought that maybe we can go broad later. But you're doing really well staying narrow. So why change? And
Yeah.
and I think the one thing with massage therapy is it's probably got a bad rap from a lot of people having this backyard. Yeah, a room at the back of someone's house and they've thrown a massage bench. Yeah, as long as they've got a bench, some oil and a towel, people could have in the past called themselves a massage therapist. But there's a lot more
Yeah.
to being a massage therapist than just rubbing your hands on someone's shoulders with a bit of oil.
Yeah, that's right. And this is part of the challenge of the industry. It's not a controlled industry like something like chiropractic is, where you have to have a certain level of study and you've got to be accepted by a board and it's all very. Whereas massage is much more open.
Yeah.
It's unregulated in that sense, or it's self-regulated. It's got associations, and to be a member of an association, you must have certain qualifications or standards.
Okay.
But there's no law saying you have to be in an association to practice. So you're exactly right. Basically, anyone can go out and set themselves up as a massage therapist and do whatever they like, but they won't be able to get insurance and they won't be able to get an association membership.
Oh, right. So they can't get insurance if they're not part of an association.
No, an association is like the main way that people will get insurance policies is by having an association membership. And you do need to be qualified. So you might be able to get insurance without an association membership if you wanted to try that, but you must have a qualification behind you. So it's something where part of what we do is actually educate the public around that, because it's a huge problem in the industry is that people go and study for 3 or 4 years, come out with this great qualification, they get a whole bunch of experience, they go and sit themselves up in a little studio somewhere and they're charging a reasonable amount because of what they do. It's a great service.
Yeah.
And next door, someone will open up, charge half as much because they're just all unqualified young people or whatever situation they happen to be in. And it's very hard for a member of the public to know what the difference is between those two things, unless they actually come in and experience it. That's part of the education that, as an industry, we need to be doing of the public in general.
So if somebody is a massage therapist and they, what's the first thing? Yeah, they contact you and they go, "Hey, I've got a business. I'm part of an association. I have insurance. I've done courses. I actually take this career serious." What's the first thing you do with them to actually help them get their business up and rolling? And I just want, before you answer this, I just want to point out to anyone, if you're listening to this and you're not a massage therapist, don't get upset about it. Don't go, "Oh, geez, they're not talking to me." The advice you're about to receive will probably apply to every business and every industry. So, James, let it rip.
It's so true. And really, the first thing we do with people is try and pull apart what their goals are and what their motivation is to actually get there.
Yeah.
Because if they're qualified and if they're part of an association, they've obviously put some time and money into making this happen. But there's still people who do that without a really strong idea of what they want out of the business side of things. And it is very common in this industry, particularly, to work for yourself. It's just a normal kind of thing. As people are studying, some of them will have an expectation that when they leave, they'll just work for themselves. They don't even consider going and getting a job somewhere else. But they don't get any training or any real knowledge on what working for yourself actually involves, how to do any of the business side of things, how to attract clients, how to run the numbers, any of that business sort of thing.
So they're not introducing that as part of their training when someone is doing a training course to become a massage therapist. There's no business acumen or training
there
involved in that?
There might be something like one unit, but one unit on marketing will just be, here's how to make a brochure or something. It's not.
Okay.
Courses are always different, but by and large, there's no focus on business in a massage training course. It's all hands-on skills, which is fair enough. That's the role of those colleges, to be giving massage.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they're not a business school.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And some of them have just 1 or 2 modules that might be helpful, but it's nothing that prepares people for what they want to do. And so part of what we do then is we say, well, what do you actually want? If you're just, again, it's an industry that attracts a lot of part-time people.
Do you get people who come to you and you say, "So what's your goal? What is it you want?" They go, I just want to have a good part-time business where I work 4 mornings a week while the kids are at school. Yeah. And that's all I really want to build up. And you can still work with them to achieve that goal.
Yeah, well, what we would do is try and see where they want to get to. And you're right, some people might want to look at something like 6 or 7 bookings a week being just like, that would, that's my goal. That's perfect for me. And in reality, getting 6 or 7 bookings a week isn't really that hard if they even just do some simple things. So we probably don't need to put them through one of our big courses just to get to 5 or 6 bookings a week, but we would give them some help. We've got a lot of free resources available that would help them do that. But then if they start saying, look, I've got to 4 or 5 or 6 bookings a week, I can see that I really want to do this as a career. I'm passionate about it. I'm loving the work that I'm doing. And I just can't seem to break through into actually getting the business off the ground. That's when we start saying, okay, well, what is your goal? And for a massage therapist, we tend to talk in terms of number of treatments. So a normal full-time load might look like 25 or 30 treatments a week. Again, people have different expectations, 15, 20, 25. But anything like that becomes, you have to have a bit more of a systemized business to get to that level and still live a normal lifestyle. If you're doing, like we have some clients that do 35 one-hour treatments a week, and it's like, oh my goodness.
That's a lot.
By the time you've got handovers in between those, that's a lot of hours actually in treatment. So the rest of the business has to be really systemized and running really smoothly. You probably need some admin help, that kind of stuff, to make that kind of business work well. And so it's sort of like playing a game of Tetris. You get 1 or 2 rows in by yourself.
Yeah.
But then once you start wanting to build up a bit bigger, you've got to have other pieces of systemization, software or people or support around you to actually help you to build up that bigger picture of the business.
You'll sit down with them, you go, okay, let's see what goal you want, and you work that part out.
Yeah.
And so they've worked out, I want to take this on as a full-time career. I want to create a business. Eventually, I may want to actually employ people. So when people do your course, what's the name of the course that you've actually put together?
We've got a couple of different ones, 2 different ones, but the main one that we would have most therapists go through is called Fully Booked Without Burnout. And it's a 6-week.
That's also the name of your podcast, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and the name of our book. So we've got like all this.
Okay, so let's point that out. James also has a book called, what's the name of the book again?
Fully Booked Without Burnout.
Fully Booked Without Burnout. That is a fantastic name. And your podcast is the same, Fully Booked Without Burnout. And I have been on there.
Yes, you have.
I was a guest.
Fantastic episode just a few weeks ago. And it was great to have you on. It was really great.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was good. It was talking. Yeah, I was on the other side of the mic where I was being asked the questions. So I'll put a link in the show notes to that episode. So if people want to hear our conversation reversed, they can. I think the more you share those sort of things around, the better. So Fully Booked Without Burnout is the book, the podcast, and the course.
And the 6-week program. That's right. And really, all of those things are broken down into what we look at as the 3 big areas of running a successful business. And this is relevant to anyone, not just massage. But we call them the 3 amazing M's. The first one is mindset, making sure that people have a goal that they want to achieve, that they know how to actually work towards it, that they've got a mindset that enables them to take action. And sometimes, literally, it's just the difference of framing your thinking or a situation in a different way that can make all the difference of how we respond to it. It's a little bit like that phrase, you can say the dog bit the man, and that means one thing, but the man bit the dog has a whole different meaning and a whole different context, a whole different story behind it. Even though it's just 2 words being swapped around.
I know, there'd be an interesting story, the second one.
Yeah, I know, right? And so we kind of look at, well, sometimes mindset is like that. Sometimes we just think about things in a certain order or a certain way, and it blocks our understanding of how to move forward. So we kind of pull that apart a little bit.
Okay, that's good. Mindset. Yeah.
Number 2 is marketing. And this is where I love to come in because my background is marketing. But we say marketing is the engine room of growth in the business. So especially when you are near the beginning and you've got low numbers and you want more, that's really the first challenge that a lot of businesses face. And marketing needs to be a strength at that point. You need to be doing a lot of work in marketing, putting energy into it and building up that client base. Now, once you've got a client base that knows who you are, that you can get referrals from more naturally, and that will continue to rebook, you still need to do marketing down the track, but it can ease off the pedal a little bit because it's really, marketing is about growth.
And it's building that momentum too. It's once you get the ball rolling, it's like anything. Once the momentum's there, you've only got to give it a little bit of a push to keep it going.
Yeah.
It's just that initial sort of work that you've got to put in the beginning to get it started.
It's like if you've ever seen footage of the rocket launches, the rockets taking off from Earth.
Yeah.
And something like 80% of a rocket's fuel gets burnt up just leaving the atmosphere.
Yeah, I have heard that. Yeah.
All of it happens at the start because you've got to build momentum and escape that gravity.
And that's what I tell people too, with their businesses, is avoid helicopter marketing. And they talk about, a helicopter burns up a lot of fuel getting off the ground, but once it's coasting along, it actually doesn't burn up as much fuel. But every time it lands and every time it takes off, it burns up fuel again. And a lot of people's marketing they'll when they're quiet, they market, and then all of a sudden they get busy, they stop. And the momentum stops, and then they start again, and they wonder why they keep spending so much money in marketing, because they're just losing that momentum. So that's a good one. So 1 was mindset, 2 was marketing. What's number 3?
Marketing. 3 is mechanics.
Mechanics.
And we look at that as the systems behind the business. So using software or other suppliers to help your business run smoother, more consistently, to give a better experience to your clients. And then we also look at mechanics as the systems of growth. Because for a lot of our clients, for a lot of massage therapists, they start off just working by themselves. And then once they get to the cap, once they get to the level of people that they can literally see in a week easily, at sort of 25, 30, 35, there's not much else that they can do just by themselves to keep growing. If they want to grow their income or get some time back, they have to start looking at other areas of growth, which could mean employing, or it could mean starting to run workshops or classes of some kind, or going online, doing something like that, or having a product line that they start selling. All of those things are part of the mechanics of the business. It's like, how can we continue to grow once your main source of income and of service to your clients is at its capacity?
Okay, so that's part of your workshop. So the Fully Booked Without Burnout, that is a workshop that covers those 3 areas. Do people normally do, how long is the workshop? Is it a 1-day workshop, a 2-day workshop?
Now it's a 6-week program. So it's run online. It's something where we have an online training portal, and for 6 weeks, they're given 6 lessons a week. So 6 days a week for 6 weeks. It is a fairly intensive program. They get access to one new training thing 6 days a week for 6 weeks. And we guide them through that. We answer questions, give them feedback on the homework that they submit, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's great. So whereabouts online can people get hold of it? Is it fullybookedwithoutburnout.com? No.
Well, fullybookedwithoutburnout.com is the actual login to our portal. But if you want to learn more about us, to see what we do, then you'd go to massagechampions.com, which is our business name.
Massagechampions.com. Okay. And that's where people can learn about the 6-week program.
Yeah, it's all the program stuff in there. There's also a whole bunch of free things. And honestly, if people just want to learn more about what we do, I always reckon it's better to experience it. So rather than read about the program and look at whatever that is, it's like jump into the free Massage Business Support Network that we have, if you're a massage therapist, which is a Facebook group where we put a whole bunch of free content. We're always in there chatting about things. And there's like 3,000 or 4,000 other massage therapists in there talking about business and answering questions and that kind of stuff.
See, so I'm a big believer in learning from other professions. I'm just a massive believer that, my background was podiatry, and sometimes I would talk to people. I remember, I'll just do a short story. It's very sad. And I was invited to talk at this businesswomen's group up in the Tablelands. Now, it wasn't long after winning the Telstra Business Award. So somebody invited me to speak because I'd won this award. Went up there, did the talk, and there was probably maybe 20 ladies there that day. And somebody came up to me before and they said, I really apologise that normally we have about 50. And I went, they said, but when they heard you were a podiatrist, they thought, well, what can a podiatrist teach me? And I went, okay. So I finished the talk, and some of the ladies came up to me and went, the people that were not here today, they missed out on some things that could have just totally changed their business. Yeah. So I'm a huge believer that podiatrists can teach accountants. Accountants can teach massage therapists can teach doctors or chiropractors. We can learn from each other. So with the reason I ask that is just your Facebook group. Is that just for massage therapists, or can anyone jump in there?
It's just massage therapists. If you're something like a chiro, you might sneak your way in. Yeah. But it is designed for massage.
No, that's okay.
Like all our stuff is. The Facebook page, you can always follow that. That's our normal business page, and there's a lot of content in that.
That would be Massage Champions. That's what it's under.
Yeah, Massage Champions. Okay. I can send the link, all that sort of stuff. We can put it in the show notes. That's all good. It's something where a group, I also think it's fantastic for therapists to be able to learn from other therapists. So whatever you happen to be in.
Oh, yes.
What I see is there's so much knowledge out there, and really massage and other sort of health services are so geographically bound. It's like no one really will go and see a massage therapist that's more than maybe don't know, 30 minutes away from
Yeah.
where they live. It might happen, but it's unusual. So there's really no competition between two massage therapists that live, 100 k's apart from each other.
That's true.
They can totally just share everything about their business that's working really well and support each other in growing this industry and growing each other's health and wellness. And there's no downside to that at all. It always just feeds into even more health happening throughout the whole country.
Okay, so when somebody they do the 6-week program, they join the Facebook group, and do you do like one-on-one coaching with people in addition to that, if that's what they require, or it's pretty much you keep them in the group and you do like group training?
So well, it depends. If they're already clients, then of course we talk to our clients. Like part of what they can do is just say, hey, I've got this issue. Can we jump on a call? And we'll jump on a call and talk through that with them. There have been some instances where we'll do more like consulting with bigger businesses that have clinics.
Yeah.
But by and large, what we've found is the best way to teach someone a topic that we want to give to more than one person is to create a really good training on it. Because if I'm sitting on the phone with someone and I've got an hour to teach them something, I want to make that the best piece of training that I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I don't trust myself to just be off the cuff delivering the absolute best piece of training that I can to that person. So instead, I figure out what topic that is. I write an absolutely brilliant lesson plan. I create all these different resources. I give them bits of homework and downloads, and I pre-record that whole thing and give them access to that as part of our program. And they're like, James, this is brilliant. This is the best training I've ever had. And it's like, yeah. And now I can give it to every one of our other clients as well.
Yeah. So you probably find when people are asking you questions, if 2, 3, or 4 people are asking, there's another 100 that are probably thinking the same thing but have not asked. Yeah. So when you put that little module together, you'll package that up as a little training program, and then that's another thing that people can purchase that program to learn that one snippet, or is that free for people who are a membership?
We just put it into our program that exists. If there is ever anything like that, we add it in. So our program has evolved and changed over time. We have the basic sort of structure underneath. The 6 weeks, each have a topic.
Yeah.
But if, for example, just in the last couple of months, we had some great results from a very specific campaign that we ran with some of our higher level clients.
Okay.
And we thought, you know what, this training has worked so well. It's actually quite easy to implement. Let's just create a nice little training banner and drop it into our main Fully Booked Without Burnout program. And so that just becomes a bonus. Anyone who's ever completed the program has lifetime access to it.
So people that have done the 6-week training program, they have access to go back to that. So as you're updating it, they can go back and they can re-listen to the new bits that you've actually added. That's so smart.
It's always being updated because, as you would know, things like Facebook change constantly anyway. So as frustrating as it is for me, we have to re-record those lessons every 6 or 9 months just because the interface changes and things look different.
Yeah.
So we want people who have graduated to still have access to that training. So we have a graduates group on Facebook, which is, clients only after they finish the program. And we do ongoing little bits of training, and anything new that comes up, we just use it as like a communication channel to let people know that that's now available. Plus we do live webinars and stuff in there every month. And there's no ongoing fee for that or anything. It's just part of the kind of the graduates community. That's what we do.
No, I think that's a brilliant idea, because I've done online training programs, and the part that's actually frustrated me a little bit when I've done them is, say for example, the 6 modules, you're going through the modules and you get to like module 4 and it's outdated. You watch it and you go, oh, okay. And then you're taking notes down. You jump online to go and do the same thing. And you go, hang on, the interface is completely different to what they're explaining. Yeah. And then you realize, okay, this recording was done at least more than a year ago and they haven't gone back and updated it. But I like how you're constantly updating it so people can. So out of curiosity, do you have to be a massage therapist to do the 6-week training? If somebody wasn't a massage therapist and they go, I wouldn't mind just going through it. I think I could learn something from the mindset, the marketing, and the mechanics.
Of course. We have some pretty random people come through. We had one lady who does customized stationery for like weddings and that sort of stuff.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Another lady who's but they're like outlying examples. The huge core of who we work with are massage therapists. Some of the things are very massage specific, like we talk about regulations in one of the lessons and compliance. Like a cleaner is totally irrelevant. But the vast majority of it, like you said right at the start, how to market, how to get on Facebook, how to have a website, how to the mindset side of things, how to think about scaling your business. That's really common for all sorts of different businesses.
It's true. Well, when I wrote my first book, It's No Secret There's Money in Podiatry, the amount of people that read that who are not podiatrists who said, I got so much out of that book. All you had to do was just change the terminology a little bit and it applied to their business.
Yeah.
And I agreed with them until I rewrote the book, until I rewrote it a second time aimed at small business. And I realized how much podiatry related it really was a podiatry book. But I still really appreciated that people who are real estate agents, chiropractors read that book and they, in their own mind, they could make the changes themselves. So I think your program would be the same thing. I could understand anyone could do it, and you just tweak it in your own head to know that I'm doing a massage course here, but tweak it to your own profession.
Yeah, and it still gets results. It's kind of funny, but the lady who does stationery, customized stationery, she was working full time in fashion for one of the big retail fashion companies. She was working as like a sourcer for new fashion and that sort of stuff. And she was thinking about having a baby. So she wanted to leave her full-time job and do this customized stationery herself, essentially part-time, but as her only income. And she was able to go through our program, put the things in place that she needed to. She left her full-time job, now happily has a baby. I think she's got a second now. She's 2 kids down the track now. And is running this stationery business perfectly fine. It's like, it's sweet. We don't actually use her as a case study because she's not a massage therapist. It's gold. It's so fantastic working with people who have the drive and the commitment to be able to take what tools they need, figure out the obstacles, whatever those hurdles are, and still make things work.
No, I think that's great. So I've got one last question for you. And this is my Monday morning tip. So if you've ever listened to my show, you know that you're going to get asked, what's the Monday morning tip? So Monday morning, someone bumps into you and they say, hey, James, I just heard you on my favorite podcast, It's No Secret with Dr. T. And I'm about to walk into work. When my bum hits the chair at 8:30, I sit at my desk. What's the number one thing that you think that I should do to kick my day off, which will kick my week off really well?
So many things flash into my head.
I know.
But if it's literally Monday morning, I always set my intentions for the week on a Monday morning. Okay. So it's like I might have a to-do list, but to me, my to-do list is just a list of tasks. And some of them will get ticked off and some of them won't in any given week. But on a Monday morning, I sit down and I say, what are the most important things for me to get done this week? And I'll look at my to-do list and I'll say, it's this one, this one, this one, this one. And for me, this is just my little system. I draw a little box next to those ones as though I'm going to tick them off during the week. You know, these are the flagged ones. And then I'll actually go into my calendar and diarize time for those tasks. Because I find if I don't do that, I get caught up answering phone calls and doing bits and pieces of content and all the other stuff that's super fun. And it gets to the end of the week and my actual tasks I wanted to get done are only half finished. So I'll go in and I'll say, right, that one will take me about 2 hours. I'll do that Tuesday morning. That one's going to take 3 Wednesday afternoon. And I diarise myself the time to get done those steps to success, I call them. This is my little terminology for myself, but I'm setting the intention for the week of what I want to do. And then at the end of the week, I always look back at that list and I double check for myself. What is it that I actually got done and what didn't get done? And what do I need to adjust in myself for the new week? And I totally believe that this is just as important as actually setting the intentions, is being able to say, quite honestly, I didn't get everything done that I wanted to last week. What do I need to change? Do I need to diarise myself more time for those kind of tasks? Do I need to lower my expectation of what I can get done in the week? Do I need to just get up early in the morning? Or do I need to delegate this to someone? And not getting something complete can actually be just as educational and just as much learning comes from that as getting things done, because it teaches me myself how to be as productive as I can be during the week. So that's my Monday morning thing. And I never schedule meetings first thing on a Monday. Never. Nothing.
No, I think that's a great tip. Well, not only did you give us a Monday morning tip, but you gave us a Friday afternoon tip to look at the rest of your week.
Tip, depending on whether you're self-employed or not, right?
Yeah, it's reflecting on the week and giving yourself a score. Like I tend to look at the end of the week and I look at all the things I said I was going to do, and I give myself a rating out of 100 on how I think I performed. And I try and look back and go, okay, if I only gave myself a 65, was it in my control? Yeah, because sometimes things will happen and it's out of your control. It could be health issues, it could be a family drama, something like that is unexpected. But most of the time, it's your own fault. That's what I found, is you let things happen that probably shouldn't.
Yeah. And even if it is something external that caused that to happen,
Yeah.
sometimes reflecting on that is still a good thing to do. It's like, I need to forgive myself for not completing what I said I would because there's this external circumstance that happens.
That's
Life
true.
will always throw those curveballs sometimes. And when we have a high performance culture within ourselves, when we set high expectations, sometimes if we don't get all 10 things ticked off, we tend to beat ourselves up a little bit. It's like,
Yeah, it's true.
and I could sometimes have a lot of negativity and a lot of frustration around that. And sometimes literally just being able to say, you know what, that's not ideal, but this is why it's happened. And what can I do for next week? That's the most important thing for me. It's like, what can I do for next week to make sure that as much as I possibly can control this, that things are going to get done that I want to get done.
Yeah, I heard someone, read it in a book, or someone told me that they allow 1 hour a day for things to go wrong. That's going to chew up.
It's a great idea.
It could be they've walked into work and next thing the receptionist has turned around and said, none of the printers are working. So they've blocked out an hour a day for disasters. Just things are going to go wrong. And they said the best part about it, when you plan for it, it probably doesn't happen, and therefore you get that hour to spend on other things. But as long as you block it in, from this time, I'm going to allow that to fix up things that disaster. It's my disaster hour. And then a disaster comes up. They go, it's not a problem. I've already planned for this. This is great.
How fantastic. Yeah.
So it's probably,
and feeling like that could be super good too. It's like, I've got an hour up my sleeve if something goes wrong. It takes a bit of stress out of the situation.
And I think that's what happens when we go 8:30, 9, 9:30, 10. You've got appointments all the way through your diet. You've allowed no wiggle room for anything to possibly go wrong. And it takes 15 minutes, something to come up. It could be an unexpected phone call, a problem with your children at school.
Or a tech problem. How often does that happen?
A tech problem.
Update on your phone and all of a sudden you can't call people or something. It's like,
Well, because we're on, we're on Zoom now, but we were going to be on Skype. But this happens to me sometimes where I'm about to jump on a call or I'm about to do something, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the password.
Yeah.
And I'm hunting around everywhere. But now I fix that problem because I actually have an app on my phone that you save all your passwords on it, and it's all protected. One of the best apps and most used apps I ever use. I think it's called Mini KeyPass or something like that.
Oh, cool. I use one that's called LastPass.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing, and it goes on my computer and on my phone, so I can save the passwords anywhere and they all turn up everywhere.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. So, James, thank you for being on It's No Secret with Dr. T.
It's a pleasure.
How can people hunt you down if they want to stalk you on social media, find your Facebook, everywhere? Give us a list of all the things where people can find you. I know where to find you, but let's tell everyone.
Yeah. Well, the main website is massagechampions.com.
Yep.
That has links to all our social media. It's got a huge blog. It's got our podcast and all that sort of stuff is listed there. If you're looking for me personally on Facebook, I'm James Crook, CROOK. And you'll find that on Facebook easily enough, especially if you're looking for massage. You'll see me talking about that kind of stuff regularly.
I found you easy enough.
That's it. Exactly.
That's how we connected. We connected through social media. You had a post saying, is there anyone that's got any background in health that may have an interesting conversation or something to share? And that's how we connected in the first place. And here's my final parting tip to everybody who's listening today. I was on James' podcast. James was on my podcast. Become a podcast guest. If you've got something to share, you've got a skill, you've got anything where you feel you've got some valuable information you can impart to somebody else, and you don't want anything in return for it, try and become a podcast guest wherever you can. It's a great way of sharing your information and actually increasing your personal brand as well.
Yeah, I love it. It's excellent advice.
So that's my final tip. So James, thank you. I tip my hat to you, and thank you for being on It's No Secret with Dr. T.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to James Crook today. And like I always say, there's so much to learn from other professions. Take the blinkers off. Stop thinking that you're going to learn everything within your own profession. Yes, you will learn certain things, but there's so much to learn if you look outside your profession. Look what other people are doing, and can you apply that back to your own profession? Now, before I go, just want to point out, if you've enjoyed this show, please give us a review on iTunes or whatever your podcast platform is. I don't care if it's a 3-star. A 5-star would be even better. But just tell people what you think of the show. The more social proof we get, the more people will tune in. And before I go, I want to point out, 3 podcasts that I listen to on a regular basis. One is In Top Form with my mate Dave Freeze. It is an awesome show. Dr. Jesse Green, the Savvy Dentist. If you're in the health industry, you're going to love the Savvy Dentist podcast. And my friend from America, Eric Hunley. His show is called Unstructured. He has everything from pole dancers to FBI agents. It is an interesting show. So if you're looking for something that's just going to open your mind, that's the show you want to tune into. Okay, that's it from me. Look after yourself, look after your family, and I will talk to you again next week. Bye for now.